topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert Show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from experts on such topics as legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to our experts in community association law, estate planning law, tax relief, Medicare, public insurance adjusters, neuropathy treatment, business brokers, and personal injury law, along with many other topics. Now here's your host for the last 17 years, Steve O.
Afternoon, South Florida. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show where you're right, you guys heard it. For the last 17 years, we have brought the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. We're here in South Florida. We have a little bit of a older demographics. We had gotten so many questions from our audience, and I'm even seeing them now come across on our new platform, TikTok, people asking about neuropathy. And we finally had an opening here in South Florida, and I said, I've got to find the top expert in neuropathy, because everything I've learned about it, it's painful. People lose their balance. There's numbness involved. And then I found out that a lot of doctors don't understand neuropathy, and they would just tell their patients there's not much that can be done. Well, we found one of the top doctors in South Florida, Dr. Andrew Cherry. And I can't wait, because we're going to educate you today on neuropathy. Good afternoon, Dr. Cherry.
Good afternoon, Steve, and hello to everybody listening and watching. Thank you for having me once again. I hope to be able to help educate some people, and not only educate, but help change people's lives.
So I got to tell you, and I'm seeing questions come in now from TikTok and from YouTube. So first of all, tell people about your practice.
All right, Steve, my practice is in Cooper City, which is Southwest Broward County. It surrounds Davie, Pembroke Pines, West Hollywood, Miramar, a lot of local areas down there. We treat patients from all these areas. Even people come up from Miami and the region area of Miami, because we happen to have a very specialized treatment plan that helps people with this neuropathy condition to actually get better and stay that way. And so I'm glad to be able to answer some questions and go over some details on what this consists of today.
Dr. Jerry, you started off as a chiropractor. What made you, and you're one of the top chiropractors in South Florida, what made you go into neuropathy?
Yeah, so yes, I've been a chiropractor for 33 years, and I have helped people with nerve, muscle, joint conditions related to just aging, accidents, work incidents, etc., just life. And for the first 22 years or so, I would see people that had this neuropathy, nerve damage, including numbness and tingling and burning and cramping and freezing and electric shock, pain and balance problems. And I utilized all of my experience for all those years with chiropractic care, even alternative methods like acupuncture, massage therapy, stretching, physical therapy, even more. And I came to realize that nothing that I offered really helped anybody with this condition of peripheral neuropathy. And that, sparked me to learn more about the anatomy of the nerves and dive deeper into what is the actual cause of everybody's pain and symptoms. And so it took, a year and a half or so of restudying, and I finally figured out the treatment needed to treat the cause of all the symptoms. And now that we do that, we have a 95 to 97% success rate in helping people change their lives significantly. And this is what we do. We focus on this primarily now.
Oh, we just got a question on YouTube. This is my third show I've watched, Dr. Cherry. My question to you is, my mother had an automobile accident. She stepped on the gas instead of the brake. From what I understand, when you have neuropathy, there is numbness in the feet. Could her accident be caused because she possibly has neuropathy?
Yeah, that's actually very common, unfortunately. Uh, the numbness and tingling comes from the damage to the covering of the nerve called the myelin sheath, as well as even the different types of nerve fibers that lie under that sheath. And it's, you know, we get a lot of people that have just that case. They've had an accident because they couldn't feel the pedals or they hit the wrong pedal by accident. They just cannot decipher the difference because the nerves are damaged to such an extent that the brain can't determine, you know, what's going on with the feet. That's why it's a very serious problem that we need to deal with as quickly as, you know, we can, as quickly as we can discover it. It's very common.
We have got tons of questions, but I want to get this out. Tell people exactly what neuropathy is.
Neuropathy means disease of the nerves or nerve damage. We're talking primarily about what's called peripheral neuropathy. So damage to the nerves at the ends of your body. Usually it occurs in your feet and works up your legs, or your hands and works up your arms. It can start on one side and then it can, you know, occur on the other side. It actually, by the time it's actually present with the symptoms that I mentioned before, there's probably something happening already, just it's not symptomatic. And so the damage to these peripheral nerves, and nerves at the end of your body, is actually affecting three different parts of the nerves. One of the parts is the blood vessels. Now, these are hair-sized nerve endings surrounded by very small, what I call microvessels. And the first problem is it's a vascular problem. These blood vessels are damaged for reasons I'll talk about in a moment. And that means that the blood supply, which carries oxygen and nutrients to the nerve's covering, is not there. And the cover of the nerve is made up of different cells that suffocate, basically, because of the lack of the blood flow. And that is one of the reasons that the damage occurs to the cover of the nerve and leads to numbness, tingling, and burning primarily. The other component is, of course, the cover and the nerve fibers. Once those nerve fibers are damaged, and remembering these are hair-sized nerves with very small vessels, very small nerves, it's very difficult to get them to respond, and requires a very specific type of treatment where we treat a little bit, we give it a break, we treat a little bit, we give it a break. We can't over-treat these nerves that are damaged. We can't under-treat these nerves. You just won't respond well. So it's taken all this time for us to figure out this special recipe, this special sauce of treatment plan. And neuropathy itself, what I have found in all the years of doing this, does not respond to the traditional medical treatments. And as a matter of fact, I've also learned that many medical professionals just outright don't know how to treat it because their traditional treatment plans don't work. And that includes medicine, their testing, and even the procedures that they reach for, because they just don't know how to do it. And by the time they get to my office, these patients, they've already experienced that and they're almost desperate, per se. So, we do everything we can to educate everybody and the anatomy of the nerves, like I mentioned, the vascular component, the cellular component, and the neurological component, so they can take the next steps to have an examination. I find the level of severity. We discuss the treatment options. It's going to help them the most as quickly as possible. And people undergo treatment, understanding that it just takes time. We have to be very patient in the healing process. And I do, inform them that since there's damage to the nerves, which make up the nervous system, the actual control center of your whole body, you can't rush this healing process. It can take anywhere from 3 months to 12 months to reach the maximum healing potential. And that will be determined better through an exam to give the patients the right expectations. So don't wait. If you have this or someone you love has it or cares about has it, don't have them wait, because this will get worse as every day passes, because if there's a lack of blood flow due to the vascular damage, every day that goes on, robbing oxygen of the tissues is going to cause death of the tissues. It's extremely important to seek help right away. So, please contact me. You can, if you're seeing the video, reach us at the phone number listed down below. The phone numbers, the website is basically my name, drandrewcherry.com. And you can spell that out, or you can abbreviate doctor to DR. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. These are great sources for patient testimonials and just ways to reach us. We will give everybody initially a free consultation.
We've got about 7 or 8 people, all basically with the same question, Dr. Cherry. I'm just going to take one of them. This is Amanda in Aventura. She said, I can't believe there's finally a show on TikTok about neuropathy. My question is, I went to my doctor, and my doctor, this is my family doctor, said there's no cure for neuropathy. So right. I'm wondering, do you think there is a cure or a treatment? And can you explain that? That's a good question.
Yeah, well, I mentioned a little earlier how the medical community just doesn't know how to help people. Their traditional approaches don't work. So they tend to tell people there is no cure. That takes the hope out of everything for everybody. And it's absolutely not true. 90% of my practice focuses on helping people recover from this condition. Anywhere from 50% to 100%. There's a significant change in quality of life and the health of the nerves, demonstrated not only subjectively by what people report, but objectively by how I test and retest and do re-exams. So please don't listen to these doctors that tell you there's no cure. Actually, that is not even fair to say to a patient. Just because they don't know how to do it doesn't give them the right to just overall tell everybody there is no cure. It's out of the scope of a general practitioner. It's practically out of the scope of a neurologist, a nerve specialist. They tell people the same thing. It's very frustrating to hear every day, week in, week out, every month at my office from these people. So again, I encourage everybody to go to my YouTube channel. It's my name, Dr. Andrew Cherry, DC. Just listen to some of the video testimonials that people talk about. In the 3 months' time, people are 50% to 100% better. Just listen to 100 people, and you make up your decision if you think it's curable.
So, Dr. Cherry, is this something you have to, the treatment continue on for the rest of your life?
Well, the treatment plan, once determined after an exam, at the point of the final exam, depending on the level of result we got, we're going to recommend, in general, just how to take good care of yourself. I mean, when it comes to being a healthy human being on planet Earth, there's 5 components to taking care of yourself. And people know this. I'm just going to reinforce it. One component, it doesn't necessarily matter the order because they're equally important. One component is what you're putting in your mouth, eating food, what you drink. Of course, every cell in your body relies on proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. So if you put the wrong stuff in, your cells are going to malfunction. That starts off the disease process. So we'll educate you on how to do that well to maintain the results we got in the treatment plan. Exercise is crucial. We have to get our blood pumping, our lungs breathing. We've got to get our muscles going, our joints moving. We have to get enough adequate sleep so our nervous systems can restore themselves. That's what controls the body. When I ask patients, why do we sleep? First thought that comes to people's minds is, so our body rests. And that's absolutely wrong, because our nervous system controls our body. So we have to get adequate rest. We also need to generally have a healthy functioning nervous system. And if you have nerve damage, It's going to stress the system. The system cannot function well. We don't expect you to feel well or function well either. And you have to be able to deal with the stresses that you have in your life. And we teach people how to deal with them a little bit better. So this is what we talk about all the time, my whole career, 33 years, of how to do a better job at taking care of yourself, and where my office or myself fits into helping you do that to get such great results. It is manageable as long as you take care of yourself. In the end, the likelihood of this returning is very, very minimal. If you don't, then the likelihood of it returning is more so. I hope that makes
Mark
sense.
in Brickell wants to know. Mark in Brickell wants to know, what if you don't take care of neuropathy? What happens?
Again, the one major component that leads to nerve damage is the vascular problem. The micro vessels get clogged, damaged, stop allowing for the flow of blood, which carries oxygen and nutrients to the nerve and the nerve's cover. That causes the suffocation of those cells that make up that cover and leads to the death of the nerve. If you take away blood supply from any tissue in your body, that will cause pain, and that will cause tissue death, and that's called necrosis. And an example, you can wrap a string around your finger tight. Try to leave that on there for 20 minutes. You'll see your finger change color to blue. It'll get cold. It'll hurt. You'll want to get that off as quickly as possible because you're robbing the oxygen from those tissues. Blood flow is crucial. And by the way, one of the most common reasons that people develop neuropathy is hypertension and vascular problems, which medically are treated with medicine to deal with the blood pressure issue, not what's causing the blood pressure issue. That's a problem in and of itself. Another common reason for neuropathy is diabetes. Blood sugar damages the lining of the vessels. And when you're talking about microvessels, they're the first ones to get damaged. And every passing day, if we don't fix that damage, this will get worse and worse. Other reasons are chemotherapy, injuries, accidents, being overly medicated in the course of your life, how poorly you have taken care of yourself in the course of your life, and many, many more reasons for neuropathy and any combination of that.
This is from Phyllis in Miami Beach. God, a lot of Miami people watching today. Wants to know, what can I do at home to help my nerves heal?
Well, if in fact it is peripheral neuropathy, you're not going to help yourself heal at all at home. What you can do is help alleviate some of the symptoms, but there's nothing you can do on your own to help it heal. That's where our treatment plan comes in. I mean, elevating the legs, using compression socks, using a heat pad, proper taking care of yourself, eat healthy foods. Generally what I've learned is that people know when they're not eating healthy. When you make that choice to cheat and not eating healthy proteins, healthy fats, and healthy sugars, you reach for the snacks, the desserts, the sodas, the fruit drinks, what's not right. I advise people to think like a caveman 100,000 years ago. And whatever they had on the planet that they could find and forage and pluck and fish for and scavenge and hunt for, and plants and roots and berries and nuts and seeds and water. That's it. That's how our bodies have been designed for 100,000 years up to the past 100 years, where we're killing ourselves in the food industry and so forth. Another topic, sorry. I'm passionate about how people should take care of themselves.
Well, we have people who are writing in questions wanting to know, are there any good supplements for neuropathy?
Generally, there are supplements out there, but the sources that they come from and the different companies that make these, and they're not truly FDA approved or cleared. People take so many supplements just to take supplements. I mean, there's no proof behind it. There's no, proof that you're actually deficient in these supplements, and yet people are taking them and spending hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Part of my treatment plan allots for very specific supplementation that my private lab has developed to control blood sugar, to reduce systemic inflammation and inflammation in your vessels, to dilate your blood vessels, to give you antioxidants for cardiovascular health. this is what I would recommend because we see such great results with our supplements. And they're in the form of a powder, so they're very easy to dissolve in water and just drink each day. So be careful.
Here's somebody from Palm Beach just wrote us. I don't have a problem driving to your office. What do you do once I come in? How do you know if I have neuropathy or not?
Well, everybody can have a free consultation. And we offer that because we want to discuss what's going on with you presently, what your health history is. We want to discuss the anatomy of the nerves, how that leads to the symptoms that you might have, the treatment. The next steps is an examination. You would need to come in for an exam so we can test all the different types of nerve fibers to make sure that it is neuropathy. Then we will review the treatment options that we offer at that point. And we have a bunch of people that come for the free consultation, and after discussing with them what's going on, what they're complaining about, their history, they don't actually have neuropathy just based on our discussions. So that's why we offer the free consult, so we can narrow down really what's going on with the individual patient. And if in fact it's neuropathy, we get them rescheduled for an examination, a neuropathy examination, a sensory exam as we call it. So I'll be glad to help you. Just give us a call. Again, the number's down at the bottom of the screen. And if anybody's listening, our phone number is 754-227-9640. We look forward to helping everybody.
I'm going to get this one. Here's one from Boynton. This is a good question. I've just moved down here, and it's always hard to find a good chiropractor. What other areas of pain do you treat?
Well, for the most part, musculoskeletal pains, daily pains. We actually don't, to correct a little bit of the semantics here, we don't treat pain. That's your medical doctor. We treat what causes your pain. That's what I do an exam for. I'm trying to find the root cause, the damage that's leading to the pain. Then we treat the damage and we promote the healing process. As you heal, you will feel better. But if we just treat how you feel, we're not treating the cause, it will come back. And we like to help promote the healing process. The whole focus of a chiropractor is to find interference in the nervous system, again, the control center, remove the interference, the body will heal itself because the nervous system now is free to express itself under universal healing or innate healing, inborn healing. It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing profession. It's very rewarding. And since everybody's a human being and has a nervous system, we can help most everybody as long as you haven't just let this go so far out that we're only just trying to get you some relief in dire circumstances.
Well, there's a lot of people right now listening on radio, listening on iHeart, Spotify. Let's give out that information for those who are listening to the show, how they can reach you.
Yep, everybody can call us at 754-227-9640. You can find me on the web at drandrewcherry.com. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram under the same name, Dr. Andrew Cherry, and YouTube. I have a television commercial, runs several times a day. I am on Facebook and Instagram marketing and advertising. I have this podcast so I can help people understand the importance. So please reach out. We'll be glad to help you. Thank you, Steve, for
Dr. Cherry is with us every month. I'm so sorry I didn't get to everyone's questions. I'm going to actually write these down and save them for the next show next month. Dr. Cherry, thank you so much. We're so lucky to have you covering neuropathy throughout South Florida. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.